Hi guys, I'm Ivona. I've been trucking for 15 years already. I own two amazing trucks. When I got my driving license, exams were like the easiest part. But then I hit the wall when I started to search for the first job. After 3 years, I moved to oversized transport. Well, after delivering 100 blades, like for the wind turbines, I quit. I said, okay, today I am going to make this first video. And then the internet stuff brought me to the place that I could become kind of the voice of the truckers. I've seen so many transport expos, and now I think they are so boring. So young people are here.
Yeah.
These people here cosplaying is just amazing. It's hard not to get distracted.
Hey everyone, welcome to another SCS on the Road episode. Today we are inside of a truck at the Poznań Game Arena 2025, and here with me is an amazing guest of Ivona, one of the, I would even dare to say, biggest influencers and content creators among the automotive industry. Also a lady truck driver and owner of a logistics company. But Ivona, can you introduce yourselves a little bit, please?
Hi guys, I'm Iwona. I've been trucking for 15 years already.
15 years.
I own two amazing trucks, and this is what I do for a living. And also some of you may know me from my social media channel on Iwona Blecharczyk, Trucking Girl. So welcome!
So 15 years behind the steering wheel of a big truck. So that was like always your childhood dream to become a truck driver of a big vehicles, or how did it happen that you end up being a professional truck driver?
Well, not really. And also I am the first truck driver in the family. I come from a family of teachers, and I am teacher myself. But I didn't like my work. I spent 1 year working as a teacher at a primary school, and I thought that's not for me. I want to travel the world. I love big machines. I was in love with American trucks. I had this dream to travel across the United States with old school American truck. And also I wanted to be financially independent. So it all made sense to become a truck driver. And this is what I did, simply.
How was the progress for a young lady to pursue such dream? Because it's still kind of perceived by the publics that the automotive industry or truck driving is dominated by men. But I know it's not. Many women are in this industry as well. But it must be quite difficult for you 15 years ago to go and pursue that dream. How the progress was?
Well, it was very difficult for a girl to become a truck driver, and even harder to get the first job with no experience. It was 2011 when I got my driving license, and the training and exams were not that bad. Exams were the easiest part. But then I hit the wall when I started to search for the first job. It was extremely difficult. Back then there was no truckers shortage on the market. Back then ladies didn't work as a truck driver.
And maybe also because you were super young back then, right? They were
Exactly.
Young and woman, and there was no shortage, so there was a lot of competition.
Exactly. So it was hard back then to get the first job for a man without experience, and I was a girl without experience, and so it was very difficult. So at the beginning I was searching for the job in my area, in my region, and then I spread my search to the regions to other regions in Poland. But finally time was passing, and I realized that I need to search in the whole country. And finally, on the other part of the country, actually in this region, I found my first job, and this is how it started. And then it got only easier. But the first year and finding the first job was the toughest.
Do you still remember what was the first job? Like what cargo did you transport it? Like,
Well, it's quite funny because I wanted to drive so much and I wanted to like just basically travel. I just wanted to be in the truck and drive, keep driving and enjoy the landscapes and so on and so forth. That I didn't even think about like loading, about the cargo. Of course, trucks like move the cargo. This is the reason they exist, right? But I was like, okay, just drive, let's drive. Where are we going first? Because for the first month, the company put me in the team with experienced truck driver, and the first one was actually, I think we transported like plastic plates or something like this from Belgium to France, and then we went from France to I believe Spain or Italy. But basically during the first month
you traveled a lot.
Traveled a lot, absolutely, because I had no experience. And the company wanted me to experience as much as possible, because in Europe, each country back then had like a different tolling systems, and each country was specific. So basically, I traveled like most of the countries during the first month. So it was amazing because I was like with the experienced truck driver, so I didn't have like the whole planning on me, and I was just enjoying. But then the first month by myself, that was struggle. That was a challenge. That was something.
Now 15 years and counting. Like, can you tell how many kilometers have you driven? Do you count that? Like,
no, to be honest, I know that American truckers count kilometers.
Yeah, they boast about
like
it. They
miles.
feel proud. Like, hey, I did
and
4
the
millions
states.
and
the
all
states.
states.
How many states? Yes. How many states? I got 5 states, 50 states. Yeah. So in Europe, it's a bit different. We don't count like kilometers. And there are like that for the first probably 2 or 3 years, I was counting kilometers. But then after 3 years, I moved to oversized transport. And oversized transport is something else, because you are only allowed to like drive with cargo at night. Basically, it stops the traffic very often. So traffic at night is slower. So when I worked in oversized transport, I counted the loads delivered. I counted the blades, because
So how many oversized jobs did you do?
Well, after delivering 100 blades, like for the wind turbines, I quit. I said, okay, now I'm done. I have 100 blades safely.
And each of the turbine needs 3 blades?
Yes, the 3 blades are always delivered in one convoy. So it's not that like
In
one
one
truck.
convoy?
Yes, exactly. It's easier also because we always drive in convoy.
But sometimes when you're like, for example, traveling through Germany, you can see those blades being parked at the truck stop, probably
Yes.
waiting for night.
Yes.
But there's only one of them. Like,
it depends really on the infrastructure.
Okay.
Because usually we prefer to stay together, but sometimes it was not possible because there was not enough room.
how much is it different from transporting like standard, like plastic plates that you said, in comparison to like this big blade for a wind turbine? Like, you need, I guess, do you need special training or like license, like for IDR, or
No.
do you need
no.
something like that for
No,
special
no.
special
Well,
transport as well?
In Europe, there is no any other certification like IDR, as you mentioned, but you need extra skills. And this is the skills that you can learn only from the other driver that has these skills. I was lucky to get this job, and I started with a small truck and small oversize. And this is what usually happens. The company that is specialized in oversized transport, they have this big heavy-duty truck, but they also have like a small trucks for a small oversize to like to check if the driver has this. Of course, when you start, you don't have the skills, but you can see that you have this 3D measurements in your eyes that you.
And those trailers usually have like steerable axles at the back, right?
I have one truck for the oversized transport, 11 axle altogether.
11 axle.
11, yes, like 4 axle truck, and I have like a remote controller for the truck, and I have a remote controller for the trailer.
And you mentioned your career of a content creator as well. Can you tell us more about when that part of your life started?
As I told you at the very beginning, it was extremely hard for me to get the first job. And once I got it, I was so happy that even though it was very hard, the beginnings were hard because I needed to learn everything. And I was so happy that every time I was home, and I was home every 1 month, so I would be like telling you so many stories. And of course, when you don't have experience, you have many stories and adventures on the road.
Funny stories.
Well, from the perspective of time, they are funny, but they're very exciting. So I had so many stories, and I would be like telling these stories to my family, to my friends, and after some time, I realized they don't understand.
Oh,
they have no idea
because they are not from the world.
Exactly.
Of automotive.
Exactly. So basically, I wanted to find my people. So I wanted to start a blog, but I was like on the road all the time, and back then phones weren't that smart and then fancy. The internet in roaming was extremely expensive.
Yeah.
The Wi-Fi were only sometimes on the stations. So I thought it would be easier to make like a blog, but on Facebook, because the Facebook already worked on the phone.
Yeah, true.
So this is how it started. So I started with Facebook, and then...
How many years back that was?
It was in 2013. So I started with Facebook, but also Facebook back then was only for the pictures and for posts. So people started to ask me to make a video because we want to hear your voice, we want to see you like move, to get to know you better. So video. So and again, first I had to get some digital camera because back then the phones.
Yeah, nowadays it's quite easier, I guess,
yes,
right?
It's
Everything.
extremely easy.
It's just one
exactly.
device, and
you
can
have
do
everything.
Yeah.
You have everything in your pockets if you want to start vlogging. But then so I got the camera, but then it was so I was so shy, and it took me, I guess, 2 or 3 months before I made my first video for YouTube, because every time I wanted to make this video, I was like, okay, what should I say actually? What should I say? And finally, I had some free time because the loading has been postponed for 2 or 3 hours. So I realized, okay, today I am going to make this first video, and I made it in cargo area in Frankfurt in Germany, and it became viral, and this is how it started. So.
Are you still sometimes nervous in front of camera, or
no?
That's gone, right? With so many videos and so many years.
No. On the camera, when it comes to the camera, no. I'm very nervous and stressed when I have like some live speeches, live presentations.
Yeah.
So this is very stressful. I made few of them already, but still always the same stress.
Can you tell us more about your audience, your community? Who are they? Are they people that are drivers as well, or they just love big trucks, or?
Well, it's also very interesting for me because my audience is from all around the world. So Polish guys stand like for, depending on the platform, for 30-40%.
That's quite a lot, still.
Yes, still, and the rest is the whole world. So as far as I see from the comments, because of course I don't know their like occupations, there are truck drivers. This is like whole transport industry, like the back office, like warehouse, factories. But also I see there is quite a lot of people that wanted to be a truck driver, but they didn't become one, and they work in like office, and sometimes.
So it's still there, like never.
Childhood dream.
Would you tell them like they should, like go and pursue that dream, like quit that office job and become a truck driver, maybe, or?
It really depends on the situation, but I think this job gives a lot of fun, but also you need to work for a good company. Otherwise, it becomes really stressful, and hard, and you need to also have the proper truck, proper trailer, well maintained technically. So if you work for a good company, it's a lot of fun. My last trip was a trip from Poland to Athens in Greece, and from Athens I took the load to Madrid, and from Madrid to Amsterdam, and from Amsterdam
It's
to
quite like
Poland.
driving around the whole
Exactly,
Europe. Like.
exactly. But these like directions, like Greece and then Spain, not profitable comparing to other directions. But I wanted to do this, and I had my own truck, and I'm driving myself, so I have what it takes to make this decision. I am the one who pays for the fun, let's say.
You are your own boss.
Exactly.
Was this one of your reasons that made you decide to go and start your own company as well? To be fully independent, to be
Yes.
like your own boss, basically?
Yes, it was the decision that I think right now that I made like too late. From the very beginning, I was dreaming of having my own truck, but I always thought that I'm not smart enough to run transport company, that it's too tough, too complicated. But even
And is it too tough and complicated?
Well, it is not easy, but it's not that tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that tough. Like right now, I feel that after 2 or 3 years, I would make it. I would make it with no problem. You need to have money to start with, and if you have some experience already and you count money very well without pin glasses, then and especially when you drive yourself, you can make it. It's not that tough, but you need to have courage to start it. But when it comes to your question, yes, I needed independence. I needed independence because back then my career already, like the influencer career, started to speed up. And I got my book published, and I got my show on the Discovery Channel, and also I started to talk about drivers' working conditions, like on the road, on different conferences, and this is the subject very close to my heart because, generally, I see that all around the world, when it comes to loading and unloading places, the working condition, access to sanitary facilities for truckers are really tough.
Oh yeah.
So it should be like normal, but it's not. In America, like sanitary facilities on the road are really nice, and the truck stops are nice. In Europe, it's the other way around. So this is the subject that I keep talking about for years already.
We keep hearing that even sometimes here in Europe, it's like super difficult to even find a spot where to sleep.
Oh yeah. Yes.
You can see it every day when you're traveling, like around like 7-9 p.m. All the gas stations, all the truck stops,
Yes.
even the shoulders or exits from the highways are full of trucks.
Exactly. Already at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
In the most the busy corridors in Europe. So this is, and also for this, to be able to make it, you need independence. So. So it happens to me sometimes that when I go to Brussels, to European Commission, that I take the load to Brussels or to Belgium and deliver, then make like a conference.
Then go for a conference, oh geez.
Yes, and then I pick up and go somewhere else. But I am only able because I am independent. And also I get the support of the brands that I cooperate with, that it's only thanks to it I can be like I am able to take part in conferences and talk about the subjects that are important for the whole industry, for the trucking industry.
I almost feel like ashamed that I don't do enough in my life hearing
No.
you do like so much of stuff, like you're like a lady behind the steering wheel of a big vehicle for many years. You run your own company, you do like content. How can you keep up with the pace, like to do all of this? Like, how do you do that? Like,
Well,
and how would you like maybe encourage people to try that as well?
Well, it's all because I really love trucking. So when I worked as a teacher for 6, 7, 8 hours a day, I was extremely exhausted, and after after like school, I was coming home. I would just have some dinner and then I would go to sleep. And I was exhausted all the time. And I didn't have like time. I didn't have like inspiration, motivation. I didn't have like strength to do anything else. But then when I started tracking, I felt that this is it. This is my way. This is my road. This is what I love. And I could be like working 24 hours a day. And even though I'm tired, okay, another trip, another. These people here cosplaying is just amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's the first time
I saw that guy coming from, he was like walking behind you with the big tail.
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay.
It's hard not to get distracted. Yeah. So basically, I believe it's out of the passion.
Mm-hmm.
It's out of the real passion, and when you do something that you love, it's easier. It's easier to get tired and then to rest. But also, of course, sometimes I get like really tired, but I slow down a little bit already. I mean, I think I'm working smarter now, because like in the past I was taught that I need to work really, really hard and like 30 hours a day to get to this point. And this is how I worked actually for a really long time, like creating content and working with Oversized. So during like in Oversized transport, as I told you, you travel at night. So at night I would be driving, and I would be going to sleep like 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I would wake up naturally at 9 o'clock maximum, and then I would be like doing social media content, because in the past I did everything by myself.
Nowadays you have some team, or
Yes,
how to say, that helps you?
Now I have a guy that makes all the editing for the YouTube, for the long videos. So.
And also, like we said previously, the technology makes it quite easier, right?
Exactly. Now I like the...
You record it, send it from phone to your guy, he edit it, send you version to check, right?
Exactly, and he uploads it for the YouTube. And in the past, I had to take from the SD card, put it in the laptop, then into the program, then work on it.
Without internet.
Exactly, so that's up. And now when it comes to TikTok or the Reels, I'm able to just make it everything by myself on the phone and then just publish. It's so easier. But basically, one thing comes naturally from another. So driving, and then I was so happy I started all this internet stuff. And then the internet stuff brought me to the place that I could become kind of the voice of the trackers. So I started to attend different events and conferences to talk about the problems that we face every day on the road. So, and to be able to make it, I had to become more independent. So I started my transport company. I got my first truck, and this is how it's slowly progressing.
So would you say nowadays it's still more trucking than content creator, or are you becoming more like content creator and slowing down on trucking, or is it like 30, is like 50-50?
It's 50-50. It's 50-50, yes. So it's like last trip was like 3 weeks long, and now
it must be quite hard to have this career, like the trucking career plus the content creator career, and combine it with the personal life, I guess.
Well, I think I mastered it already.
Okay.
I mastered it already, and also when I do...
Because you spend quite a lot of time on the road, right, basically?
Exactly, and my content is, I think, natural. So I'm not like other influencers that need to like create ideas for the content and then like work on the scenarios and so on and so forth. Like,
so you're basically like capturing your life.
Exactly. So it's easier. I believe this is that what makes it easier for me. So I just capture and that's it. Also, I make some like campaigns that I need to prepare, like the prepared idea. Like right now, for this 15 years anniversary, I already working yesterday. Actually, I recorded the interview with some professors here in Poznań. So I will be like for the 1 year each month I will be talking about different health problems that truckers have. And again, it's natural and how I came up with it because this year I made myself quite a lot of like tests, like health tests, exams, and also I'm attending like a rehabilitation, like a physical, rehabilitation, because I didn't realize I have some problems with the spine after these years at the wheel. So I thought I didn't realize that I have this problem. So other truckers probably don't realize.
Yeah.
So again, I can raise these issues. So like 15 years anniversary, it's just perfect idea. So again, new project, and it requires me planning, and it requires my team to work, to plan, to make it happen. But again, like comes naturally. I mean, I hate exercising, I hate workouts, but I always worked physically in this job. So I would be always like holding curtain-sided trailers where you need to open the sides, you need to put the straps, then oversized transport again, even more, and working
chains and everything.
chains, exactly. But I believe it's hard for men too, because these chains can be really heavy, and the only like difference is that female body is probably a bit weaker, and
but maybe more flexible.
But it damages. You can see like the damage faster.
Yeah, true.
But for so many years. I've been in contact with all these oversized truckers, and when I met them, they were young and beautiful, and after a couple of years of work in oversized transport, they became gray and working and like this. And so it's the same for men too, but maybe they don't pay that much attention comparing to women. But this. Yeah, but it's very important to take care of yourself, to have good diet. If I were to mention like the two factors as the most important, first is like the water, and second is workout, exercise, move all the time.
Yeah.
Make your breaks, like 5-minute break, just walk around a little bit, just move.
I feel like super honored that you still found the time to come visit us at PGA. Is this your first time at a gaming event like this?
Yes, it's my first time, and I'm very happy to be here with you. I remember like when I had the chance, I believe it was 2016.
Yes, the American Truck Simulator,
yes,
when it was coming
you
out.
released American Truck Simulator. It's funny because I was back then I was already working on my work permit to go to America. And I was very curious how accurate the trucks and in American Truck Simulator work comparing to the real one. So when I was like driving it, I thought, oh, okay, this.
The steering angle.
Oh, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, I thought, oh no, it can't be that low comparing to European trucks. And then when I finally went to Canada and I started to work with this truck, okay, all right, they were right.
They have a lot of space there, right?
Yes.
So they don't have narrow streets like we
Yes.
do in Europe. So
Yes, but also it's very inspiring for me because I've seen so many like transport expos, and now I think they are so boring.
Yeah.
Comparing to this place, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, you needed, when you moved out to trucking, you needed to find your people. Like this is our people for us.
Yeah.
You know, so
And there are so many young people.
Yeah.
I also see some older people as well. But when I entered here, it was like, so young people are here.
Yeah, that's
Because in
that's
transport, I don't see so many young people.
I think they're kind of scared of, trying to join the automotive industry. Maybe like when they will see this episode with you, like maybe they will get inspired to and encouraged, because like it was super difficult for you and you still made it, right?
Yeah,
so
of
they
course.
could as well.
It's all for people, It's all for people, and you just try, Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I made my mistakes.
But at least
Yes.
try, people. At least go and try, right?
Yeah.
Don't like wait 40 years and then be like sad that you never tried.
Exactly. And sometimes we try one thing, and even after myself, I see that sometimes I wanted so badly, and I tried so hard, and it didn't work out. But because of this failure, I met some people, or I came
Or you
with some
learned,
other
yeah.
idea that actually led to something so much better that I
Yes.
didn't even realize that I wanted. So just from one failure to another, and finally you get somewhere. You find something that you really love, and once you find it, everything becomes easier, and all the ideas come naturally, and everything's even not easy, but basically you simply know what to do.
Yeah.
and you don't need to think, should I make it or not? If it's for me or not. You basically know, Like with love, you basically know.
Yeah, I guess with you doing so much, I think you don't really have a time for gaming, or do you like video games, or do you play anything in your free time, if you ever have any free time? Because
No.
you must be so busy all the time.
No, but I would love to try. I would love to try the new American Truck Simulator.
Oh yeah.
And I see all the stations here, and I see all these two that are moving.
Yeah, the motion sim. Yeah,
Yes.
we need to put you on that, and to try our upcoming DLC as well. Within our community, there's like millions of people. Most of them are from younger audiences, but I believe there will be a lot of people that know you, or that will start following you, start becoming your fans as well. Is there any like message at the end you would like to say to the community of our games?
Just enjoy your life and keep on trucking.
Ivona, thank you so much for having time for us. It still feels like unreal for me with you doing so much that you still found the time to spend the day here at PGA in Poznań. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm very happy to be here, because I have never seen something like this before, and it's amazing for me to learn something new and to see something new. It's so inspiring. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
That's awesome.
I'm part of.
That's awesome. And we will see all of you at one of our next episodes.